Right then guys, how are we all doing? Should we dive straight in? Hope everyone's doing well. Drop in the chat, grab yourself a coffee. A little bit of an early one, this one again. I do quite like doing these Euro sessions though, because more often than not, there's not too much going on in the European session, not much volume floating about in the market, so it's quite nice to get the planning in for when we get that volume kick potentially in the US session, or if you're coming off the back of an Asian session, you know what's been going on the night before. It's not often we get pivotal moves in these European sessions, is it? Obviously being in crypto, the market runs 24 hours, but we get those certain volume kicks, don't we, in the US session and Asian session. So plan of action today, because it is a little bit of an early one, I will timestamp it post stream so you can play it back and review and all that good stuff. Okay, but grab yourself a coffee if you are watching on playback, grab yourself a beer or a glass of champers if you've had a good week so far. What we're going to do is just on the old multiverse screen at the minute, watching Ethereum top left, Bitcoin top right, fartcoin. You know why we are watching a little bit of fartcoin today, because obviously we've had this meme triangle going on fartcoin that we pointed out on Monday. Yo, what's up, swaps? Yeah, jump in the chat, guys. I will keep an eye on the chat if you want me to have a look at anything. I'm going to tell you the plan of action in a second. But yeah, fartcoin, meme triangle. Nice trade, I do think. My only issue with fartcoin now is it is what we would call a crowded trade. Okay, everyone's watching it. It's potentially very open for a little bit of manipulation, but yeah, posted out earlier obviously that, you know, within that meme triangle now you have got the potential for an inverse head and shoulders. If you're a bit of an altcoin OG, you will know that inverse head and shoulders more often than not play out very, very well and can be good risk reward trades. So we need to see a little bit of demand in here. Not something I would just, you know, stick resting limit bids in here and say, yeah, that's it, because it could fail. You know, it could easily just slice through, come back down here, and stop everybody out. I already saw yesterday that loads of breakout traders were trying to just, you know, because everyone was posting this meme triangle on fartcoin, this is the zone to get in on, isn't it? Okay, that's where you put your bids in, even with that little deviation of a couple of percent. Yeah. Everyone was trying to buy the breakout on fartcoin yesterday, and it failed. Offers just absolutely held it down. So I was saying to the guys, be cautious if you are trying to short fartcoin here, because it does look quite strong, but it's not quite ready for that breakout yet. So for me, really, leave it alone, because potential as it can. It's just the risk reward on those breakouts is never very, very good. I would say leave it alone, wait for a bid, even if it flushes a bit lower, and we'll have a look at what is going on. But yeah, that is fartcoin. So today, plan of action, we're going to have a fresh pair of eyes on big boy Bitcoin, right? What we're going to do is we're going to pretend we've been on holiday for a couple of weeks. We're going to pretend that we sold at 125k BTC. We've come back to the charts, we've chilled, we've read it really well and said, yeah, I think we're looking at a bit of a slowdown, a bit of a downturn. Let's have a look at the charts now. Top down, monthly, weekly, daily, 4 hour. Where are we on the 4 hour? Okay. And then we're going to get the microscope out, and we're going to have a look at, obviously, all the juicy stuff in the TRDR Trader console. If you're unfamiliar with this console, grab a link from below for a free trial. Okay. Jump into all the good stuff on there as well. Absolute wealth of knowledge in the Academy section, from the docs pages and the like. Academy course back up to full price now. If you didn't get a discount on that, unlucky. Yeah, I think we forgot the discount was on that one, so we've taken that off now, and that is back to full price. Okay, so yeah, look, nowhere to shake it. Bitcoin is in a light bearish downtrend, in a higher time frame bullish structure, I would still say. You know, it's flirting with breaking that daily trend, but we will have a look at that today. Ethereum, I think, is up for a bit of a range, I do have to say. You've got massive wealth of offers above, defending up towards 5k. You've got a little bit of bid here. I think ETH is very tradable, even if you were just hedging shorts yesterday. I think to hedge a couple of shorts yesterday, not a bad idea. ETH, ENA were notable. Turns out that fartcoin, yeah, not bad, but it's a tricky one on the short side. I think fartcoin is easier to long, in my opinion. And Sol is looking strong. So we've got some Sol diamonds down there, and then we've got this bid follow up here. But yeah, it won't surprise me to fill some of this area out. Right then, so let's dive in. Let's dive in then. Full window. Okay, what we on there? Aave. Why was I looking at Aave? Not too sure. So look, we'll start off with Bitcoin, and look, yeah, just generally for execution of orders and stuff. Let me just get rid of that. It's actually a time-based fib. Generally for execution of orders and stuff, I'm down on the 15 and the 5-minute charts in the TRDR console. Okay, but really on a TA point of view, I don't really go under a 1 hour. So for me, it's daily 4 hour and 1 hour. I look at, you know, pull ranges on 4 hour and 1 hour and the like. So as I say, what we're going to do is, so if you're a bit of an OG in the stream and in the chat, then you probably want to skip along to have a look at where our fartcoin entries are probably going to be all right, because we're going to do a top down now on BTC. I really want to. And especially for anyone that's new, there's been a few more people, new people on Twitter, joining us on Twitter, a few new people in the Discord, and a few new people in YouTube as well. So what I really want to do is, I really do want to just simplify this down and have a look at a top-down chart on Bitcoin, okay? Like I say, pretend you've just sold Bitcoin at 125k. You've done really well. You've taken 2 weeks off. You've come back to the charts. Okay, now that we're down here at 110, or, you know, 110, floating between 110 and 111, do we see value down here, right? Do we want to go risk on again, you know, into September? Seasonality says September's not a very good month. I don't really give a flying fuck about that. If the flows and the chart is telling me to put a bid in and go risk on, then that is what we will do. Okay, so are we seeing any value down here? So let's draw some key levels. Okay, if you're familiar with how we trade, we don't really, although I value people that do use them, you know, we don't look at wave patterns, you know, a lot of stuff really. I'm all about key price levels. You know, what the fuck actually moves price? Bid and ask moves price. So if you're seeing bid and ask at some key price levels in the flows, that is what moves price. Okay, so let's jump into that now. I just need a nice clean chart first and foremost. Here we go. Okay, so this can be quite quick. Okay, this can be quite quick, but first and foremost, what we're going to do is we are going to go to a monthly chart, yeah, and we're going to zoom in. Okay, and we're going to have a look. Let me go full screen. We're going to have a look at where we are. Yeah, okay, it's a nice and clean chart, and we're just going to have a look at levels, and you'll already see that I do have some levels here just from the weekly and monthly open anyway, and we're just going to make it super obvious for ourselves. Okay, so 125k high wick. If you followed on the last stream and video, you'll know that we were taking profit up there. Nick went to bed, didn't put his short position on, woke up, and we're already back down here, absolutely cooked out of that derivative short position. Okay, so let's have a look at where we are. Let's have a look at good old open and closes for key levels. So straight away, where are we bouncing now, or where have we wicked to for the last couple of months? It's been the open and closes from July, hasn't it? June and July. Okay, so what you would say is, in theory, without even looking at any kind of order flow, bid or ask, you would say that in theory this is a nice level. Okay, it's actually the quarterly, yearly quarterly open as well. Let's just say 107, yeah? Let's just say 107. What is the open and close? Yeah, 107.146, okay? If you're unfamiliar, if you just hover over the candle, whether it be a monthly, weekly, or whatever, you get all your statistics up there, okay? Just for anyone that's new, excuse me, the OGs in the chat. Right, okay, so we'll call it 107. So you've got a nice level there at 107. Now, for the last week or so, I've really wanted to get under there, to be honest, for value and maybe take some liquidity in 105. Someone was asking me in the Discord the other day, are we going to 105? Right? I don't have a fucking clue, right? I do not have a clue. We have those levels in mind, okay? Maybe we do get there. Maybe it takes 2 weeks, you know, maybe it takes a couple of days. Maybe we go there today. I don't know. We have the levels in mind, okay? But we're not all about drawing magic lines on a chart and then saying I am bidding that level with absolute conviction. Okay, you've got to look at the order flow when we get there. You know, today we're looking at an inverse head and shoulders on fartcoin. Do I want to just 1000x a limit bid in there? No, I don't. You know, I'm gonna have to watch the flows because maybe we have a bearish day. You know, maybe we do, maybe we do. But we need to watch the flows, okay? So we've got these nice levels here, and this is why we are bouncing at the minute, okay? So look, we've got monthly open and closes here at 108, and then we've got previous monthly open and closes down there at 107. So we've got a nice area of potential support there, haven't we? If we come down to 105, I would still see it as value if we can find a bid there. What else do we see on the monthly? Pretty obvious, we are trending up, okay? So nice levels there. Okay, areas of confluence. Where are we going to find resistance if we rise up? And again, this is going to be very obvious. Okay, so 115. Okay, 115 is going to be an obvious sticking point. It's actually, and when I show you a 4-hour chart when we go to it, it's actually the previous range lows as well. Okay, not to mention that we do, I think we all will know that we do have a CME gap. 16.8 is it? Maybe correct me if I'm wrong. 16.8, maybe 16, 60, yeah, 16.815 I think it is, or something like that. I've got it there, just under 17. So we know that we can go and fill out that zone, but you've got an obvious resistance there. Now, okay, so that's your monthly chart. Let's go to a weekly. Unfortunately, I can't change that without doing that. Bear with me. Okay, so first and foremost, once again, weekly, what is it doing? It's trending. Okay, so you are still trending. Okay, no way to shake this. Another thing you could do on the weekly is, okay, just before we have a look at key levels, is we could drop our OG indicator on the weekly 21, couldn't we? I think if I just put a standard moving average on, that might do it. Let me just have a look, quick look. 21 close, yeah, standard simple moving average is fine. I don't think that's going to make any difference. Yeah, that's not going to make any difference at all. Is it? Okay, so look, the OGs among us will know that in a trending bullish market, which I have to say we are still in, there's a couple of other things I can show you as well, despite the fact for 2 weeks we've had this lower time frame bearish trend, okay? the urges among us, and I've said this before as well, is we will know that the weekly 21 more often than not can act as a good area. Okay, when you float under there or touch it, when you float under there in a bullish trending market, it's seen as value. Okay, seen as value when you float under there, like these instances. Yeah, so the weekly 21, we're just there as well. Okay, so that's another area of confluence on the weekly. Does the weekly 21 remain a good urgy indicator in the future? Maybe not. Maybe not. We'll see. Okay, so weekly chart. Weekly chart, here we go. Let me just zoom in. I'm not going to look any lower, but basically, yeah, you're still high, higher high, low, higher low, higher high. Okay, you could still potentially drop back in this zone, and I am up for a bit of a range in this area. Okay, you could still drop back and range in this zone. And it's still going to be a higher low on the weekly chart, isn't it? We've got no change of structure, really. I would get worried, and I'm not too worried at the minute, if you maybe you go and this is pure speculation on the weekly, maybe you go fill that CME now, for instance, in the next couple of days, which would be good for trading, wouldn't it? Then you come back, and then this flips to resistance. Okay, that's then going to be bearish. Okay, that's not going to look very good, is it? At the minute, we haven't got that. Okay, so you're just playing with what we've got at the minute. Okay, so fresh pair of eyes. We've been on holiday. We're looking at the charts. Oh, look, we've come down to this zone. It's a quarterly open. We've got a couple of monthly opens in here as well. We know. And what is it? Okay, it's resistance, breakthrough, come down. It's potential demand. Yeah, very, very absolute retard simple. Yeah, potential demand. So anywhere a fleeting bid under here, okay, into that 105 zone, if we get there, I would still see as value. Okay, I'm still going to see that as value. So very, very nice chart. Again, you're probably going to find some resistance. Yeah, 113, 114. We can see a wick high of this week, 112. We've achieved nothing this week, really, have we? That was probably Monday as well, when we got a little kick up to the liquidity on the US Labor Day. But yeah, last 2 weeks, yeah, 113 there, and then we know we've got that CME gap a little bit high. So look, at the minute, this is demand until proven wrong. Okay, and then look at that up there at that 119. Yeah, that's madness. Yeah, unless we go on some kind of big push parabolic run again, everyone's getting airdropped credit checks again or something. I mean, that 120 is going to be a little bit, yeah, I think that's going to be a little bit tough, especially since you've had that swing failure pattern there as well. So you had that wick there, you've battled the 120 zone, and then you've had that big swing failure pattern that we got a few weeks ago, and back down, and there you go. Okay, so look, daily chart. Let's have a look at the daily chart. A couple of things I've got to show you on the daily chart as well. Let me just go back to this, load the data, load up for me, please. Got about 1 million windows open. I do try and close a lot of my windows when we're on the lives. I have got ultimate amazing internet, but let me get rid of that. Yeah, okay, so look, daily chart, and yes, I'm not a trendline trader, I'm not a wave trader, I'm not, any of those butterfly patterns, spider patterns, crab patterns, whatever fucking patterns you can throw at me. I don't care if there isn't a bid or ask on that, then I ain't going to trade it. Look, the trend is still pretty much intact. You can draw these lines any which way you want. You normally just want the power of 3 for a trend, don't you? Potentially, we still look okay here, okay? One thing I was going to say is that, look, yeah, that is your resistance, and here you go, kind of battling auction price there, battling to push through it. You do push through it, and then you come back. So it would be nice to hold this area, this 107 area. I'd say it's going to be a key area. Any quick wick under there, I want to see it bought back up. I don't want you can really make this obvious now after looking at the weekly and the monthly chart. Okay, this is support. You really don't want that to turn into resistance, do you? Just like we saw on the weekly chart, you really don't, because then you're going to come back down to this lower trend line at 100k. And yes, I have seen some bids down there. It is still looking quite big down there with demand. You know, would you bid that? Yeah, probably, but you'd want to see a really, really good reaction if you did come down there. Okay, you could even suggest that it's still on trend, but bulls then you really want to see something strong, because otherwise it's a little bit of herpium down there, and you really don't want to be trading herpium. You know, all the way through this move. Even back there, you'll know I was so bullish, saying, yeah, we're going again. We are going again. Now, I think you're potentially in for a little bit of a range here, to be honest. I'm up for another push-up. If we get it, great. But yeah, I think we're potentially in for a little bit of a range. And one thing, let me just do the old... And one thing I tend to like to do, just to gauge some timing, is I'm just going to get a... trend-based fib time on that high there from that previous what I'll call mega alert 7th of April, when everyone was bearish. Okay, oh, I've drawn that wrong, so I'm gonna have to delete it. Bollocks. Grab another espresso, Nick, and wake up, please. Right, so from, I'm gonna call it from that low there, because that was a low to there. Right, so trend-based fib time. Okay, so look, you potentially, I think you could even range here, you know, put in another high, take the CME gap back down until Q4 November, and we all know that bottoms more often than not do form in August or September. Seasonality, and I don't trade seasonality, but says that September is bearish. So maybe you form some kind of range low bottom here, you go up, you fill the CME gap, maybe you do the CME gap first, come back down. You know, I'd be well up for, you know, a bit of this kind of price action. You know, go and nick that 105, a lot of liquidity there. You know, back up, range, hit the lower end of the trend, boom, something like that, just to consider. And again, that can take a lot of time. And what I think it'd absolutely do is piss everybody off, because no one likes trading a range apart from myself and a few OGs. Everybody likes a trend and up only because it's easy mode, isn't it? I love a range. I love the battle, the price auction, you know. Okay, so daily chart still looks okay. We need to see something here though, otherwise we are going to go a little bit lower. So we will get the microscope out in a second and have a look at the bid ask and what we are actually seeing right now. But you've just got to be open to these ranges forming for a little bit longer, okay? These big assets, you know, especially the kind of volume that ETH, and I think ETH is going to range for a little bit longer. These larger assets range for 80 to 90% of their life, okay? So if you are unfamiliar with trading ranges, you need to get familiar with trading ranges and identifying them as quick as possible so that you're very, very comfortable in that range, saying, this is high value at the moment, okay? This time, this is high value, this is low value, okay? So with saying that, let's go and have a look at the, I'm going to get rid of that because I don't want it on now and it might be a bad draw, that one. Let's have a look at the 4 hour, yeah? So let's have a look at the 4 hour. Let me just zoom out there, okay? So look, couple of, this is a nice clean chart, okay? We've been away on holiday. We're having a look at a nice clean chart. Where are our previous ranges? So let's grab a fixed range, and I'm going to call that a range there, which I've got. I do have drawn in trade view. Okay, so we've got a previous range there. Okay, I'm not going to draw my lines on it, but that's your value area low there. That's your value area high there. So what have we achieved in the last couple of weeks? We're putting our high. Okay, we've wicked the high, had a swing failure pattern. We've come down, grinding down. Look, it's so obvious now. This is a lower time frame bearish structure. Yeah, potential market structure change right here, right now, which I was saying to lads the last couple of days, but we need to see more evidence to confirm that. Okay, so what have we done? Light bearish trend down. We've come down. We've hit the weekly, the monthly, okay, potential demand zones, and the 4 hour previous range highs. Okay, we go up, we fail, we go up, we fail. Okay, resistance, point of control. You probably had some BTC diamonds and some really, really good bid there. We pop back up, we confirm it as demand, and we run and gun. Okay, and then it took a little bit of a price auction there before we actually put that 125k high in. Okay, so really nice key levels here. Okay, so you're building a picture, really nice key levels. 4 hour structure there. Okay, back here, this was a range, and it was a nice one to play as well. I'm just going to call it to there, okay, and let's zoom into that then. So we know where our previous range is. We've got monthly levels, we've got weekly levels, we've got some daily levels here, and we've got a previous range, okay, there. Now, okay, now that's our range that we were in for a little amount of time. That was an absolute scam, wasn't it? Down to 112 and then mega pump up. I think it was well bid there, to be honest. I think Perpetual, Spot, everybody was well bid there. It was really obvious in the order flow if you were playing it at that time. If you didn't get in on that one, I think that one was even more bid, okay? That's our range. Okay, we put in the swing failure pattern, we come down to the point of control. When I woke up the next day, we were right back here at 118 already. So for me, it was a case of, I'm not chasing shorts there. Let's just see what happens, okay? That could have been your next one, I think, at 118 on the 17th of August, okay? Point of control down. We then try to get back in range. We can't. We come back to range there. We can't do it, okay? And that, for me, was a big one. When you then start to auction price below the range lows, okay, below your range lows here, that's an absolute failure, and you know that you're going to have to auction price lower. And sometimes it's not a case of the sellers were really, really aggressive in here, okay? I'm sure there was a lot of profit taken. If people didn't take profit up here, like myself, staying up till 1 a.m. in the morning or whatever it was at that time, that high there, I know it was, yeah, it was like 1 a.m. It was on that Asian Open. And then you wake up the next day and you see this and you're going, oh shit, okay, yeah, I need to start taking a little bit of profit. So that can be the case as well. Maybe the sellers aren't so aggressive. Maybe there's just absolute lack of bid. And that's the way I like to see it, is when you're in a range or a price auction, okay, if there's absolute lack of bid, then you're going to have to go and find it. Yeah, you're going to have to go and find it. The books are empty. It's not going to take much selling to then sling price down and go and find that bid, okay? And that's where we are now, okay? So look, here we are now. Forget this trend line. I'm not a trend line trader, but I do put them on there, only being aware that other traders do look at them, okay? And here's our levels. So we go to previous range, value area highs here, quarterly open, we've got weekly open and monthly open here, couple of nice wicks below. Okay, and here we are. Is that a potential inverse head and shoulders there as well? Similar to fartcoin down here somewhere. That'd be a nice liquidity grab down there. So yeah, I'd be having a look at down here today. Let's see if we can get it. You know, yeah, a little bit of resistance you're probably going to find at 111 again. Let's see what we get today, right? Okay, so those are our levels. I hope that has shined a little bit of light for a very nice clean view of what we are looking at. Let me just get rid of those, because that is the way to do it. You know, why are we here? Okay, why are we bouncing here? Well, obviously someone's putting a bid in, but why are they putting a bid in there? Okay, so with that being said, now have a look at the all-important data and order flow. Okay, so let me just reset that. Okay, so here we go. So I've still got my levels marked here. We can see that actually, let me go to a 15-minute chart so we can just get a little bit of a view of where we have come from. We can see in the data, we have actually got a little bit of order book depth coming back in the charts. Primarily, this has been coming from perps just recently. You can see that on Binance Perps USDT there, they've got a 29 ratio. It's still 2.5 to 5% away. CoinM, okay, they've got a little bit of bidding. I'm not too fussed about CoinM, I do have to say, but I like to see them on our side. Okay, so here we are. Look, this kind of price action, I would say, is very indicative of what a normal summer price action is like. I think we have been absolutely gifted some brilliant trading conditions the last couple of months from the beginning of summer. It's not normally like that. Okay, so if we get a little bit of chop now leading into September, then just accept it, okay? Just, if you trade in some of the alts and stuff, keep the leverage down a little bit, trade lightly, and yeah, just expect a little bit of chop. That's all I would say. Right here, right now then, okay, Bitcoin, no real demand right here, right now. We need to see something under price. If we can come back anywhere near this weekly and monthly open, that's going to be good, okay? A little bit of spot bid from the other day back there at that 108 level. Open interest getting a little bit of a nuke here, so that's nice to see. Always nice to see that open interest RSI metric indicator, okay, offers those areas of confluence as well as we come down to the lows with that bit of bid. Now, the all-important one to see, because spot might have filled already from a little bit lower in that 107 area, okay? I think they actually did. Let's just go back. Yeah, so spot have been filling a little bit already, okay? Was there anything lower last week? No, not really. 108 kind of level, isn't it? I think we did get a tickle a little bit lower previous to that last week, but look, spot have filled a little bit. We need to see our perps markets get in and give us a little bit of an aggressive push. Now, what I saw last night that I tweeted out was this entity here was looking slightly similar to this area here, okay, when we last visited 107. Very, very nice to see, okay. Woke up this morning and they've gone. Okay, so what you need to see is you need to see something like this come back in the market to give us a push. We had good depth yesterday over the last couple of days, so good depth of book. You can see that people are prepared to buy the dip. 800, 850 mil aggregated. Okay, open interest getting nuked, and we're getting some nice bounces, some very tradable bounces. Right here, right now, we've got nothing. Okay, what else was nice to see yesterday or last night was that this entity here was willing to buy the dip. It was quite a large order, okay? So someone said to me, oh, is that fake? Is it a bull trap? Well, no, it's not fake. It's just a big, fat resting limit order in the books, okay? This is probably someone in the US session, okay, that's waiting for a dip here. Price starts to come down. They probably got bored and went to bed, right? And said, well, I ain't leaving that resting bid there, you know? So it's not a spoof. It's nothing. It's just someone putting an order in. Maybe they wait for a fill. Okay, they probably got bored, went to bed and thought, right, okay, fuck it. You know, I'll wake up tomorrow and have a look. What time did they put that in? So that was US session, yeah, and then they pulled it just later on in the Asian session. But what was nice to see as well from the perps market was these offers lifting. Okay, that's nice to see. You don't want to see the opposite of this, okay, and these offers come down and start to chase price down. Okay, that's going to be very bearish. So it's nice to see that the offers are lifting, but we need to see a bid under price, yeah? CoinM, I'll show you that quickly, but I'm not too fussed about it. CoinM, so yeah, they're supporting price, and sometimes they're on the right side of the market. But if you are looking at CoinM, please, please, please get some other markets and exchanges in confluence with them. So you want some spot exchanges in confluence with them as well. I think even BitMEX were putting in a bit of a fat order yesterday, and then they've lifted that as well. They've got a bit of selling going on there. So yeah, CoinM prepared to buy the dip just down under 110 there as well. So that's nice to see. What else do we need to look at? I think Coinbase Pro, yeah, they've not got a lot going on here, to be honest. Their biggest resting bids and demand zones are still down at 105, and then some cheeky bugger is after 100k. I don't think you're going to get down there anytime soon. I'm happy to be proven wrong, but just by how slow the price action is, and we've got lack of seller activity, so I don't think you're just going to blast down to 100k anytime soon. Get Kappa on the line. Maybe he knows something we don't. All right. But yeah, USDT, Binance, and USDC 105. But again, I don't think we get there anytime soon. I really don't. I think I'm more in favor of coming down in the next couple of days into this 110 area, chopping here about, and then maybe moving up and taking that CME gap into next week. I think odds favor that move rather than a giga nuke down to 105. But books are empty right here, right now. We need to see some of these guys coming back into the market. Okay, look, if I show you the volume, I do have to say, because I've been looking and watching volume all week, you know, I've got no real edge in it. I've got no real edge in the volume at the minute. It just looks a little bit messy, a little bit choppy, not a lot to see here. It's kind of just following price. You know, I'm up for a bit of a flush here, maybe not much. Why? Retail longs are piling in a little bit, but again, I've got no edge in that. I certainly wouldn't say to myself I'm going to short the market down here, because I believe, or I think it's going to go down a little bit, you know. It's just not the way we trade. All right, so no real edge in volume, because I've got a slightly slower look back. If I put it down to a 5 minute, okay, what you do have the potential for is, and if you're an OG Volume King template user, I do have a video on this. Go and have a look at the playlist. There is a video on this. On the lower time frames, I do like the cluster building down here of the low open interest, the LS ratio coming down, and the funding, and you've got potential to build some bullish divergences here. Just really, really simple, okay? Really, really simple. If volume carries on and we catch a bid down here into that 110 area, then there's potential for lower time frame bullish divergences. All lower time frame stuff, okay? Let's have a quick look at deltas then on a 1 hour basis of the reset. Yeah, so we can see here deltas have all pretty much reset over the last 24 hours as well. That's looking nice. What have I got on here then, just to show you? Open interest resetting on the deltas, volume buy side coming down, not quite reset like it did back here, but coming down, and OBD deltas as well coming down and resetting. So we like that. We like that for the lower time frame. Let's have a look at what the funding is at. Yeah, funding, yeah, not a lot going on, to be honest. 0.005. I only really look at why have I got BitGet on there? I don't really want BitGet on there, or Hyperliquid actually. I'll do that and I'll save it another time. Okay, so 0.004 in and around there. Bybit and Binance are the most important there. Yeah, not a lot going on funding. Okay, so that's Bitcoin. I think I've pretty much covered up everything there. We've gone top down. We've had a look at our key levels. We know why we're kind of bouncing in these areas. We know that if we do enter into that 105k zone, there's going to be some liquidity there. And I would like to think that we find value if we do go there. I'm just not sure we're going to go there anytime soon. I mean, even lower time frame here, higher lows, higher highs, just on even on a 15-minute time frame here. So that's Bitcoin. If we're going to move up in the next 24, 48 hours, okay, because it's very nice to speculate on hitting 117 or 105, okay, but we need to see something in the books here. It's Thursday today. More often than not, we do get these pivotal moves Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. I would say Monday auction sets up your move. You can then more often than not go and sweep the Monday low or the Monday high, and then you get that momentum move for the rest of the week, or at least till Thursday. We haven't really got a move in place yet, so I'm hoping we get a move. And I say hoping we get a move just so it makes some good trading. I would never hope that price goes one way or the other. I'm just saying I hope we get some volatility and we get a little bit more data in the books to make a dynamic discretionary decision, okay? Because if you're not in any longs yet, you want you want to see some moves, you need to see a bit of bid. That's all it is. No aggressive selling, okay? No aggressive selling on Bitcoin. So I'm not prepared to short the market right here, right now. We've got depth of book. The open interest is coming down. I just need to see some bid. All right. So I hope that makes that clear. We've covered Bitcoin for 40 minutes, right? So we're gonna move on. Swap says it looks like the entity was miners. Really? Have there been? What have miners been up to? I haven't even looked at the ratios. One other little quick thing to cover on Big Boy BTC, on-chain analysis. Any way you cook it, if this is still relevant, and I do have this on a trading view chart as well that I've saved previously. Majority of on-chain analysis, and I'm sorry for the white screen here. I wish Bitcoin Magazine would give us a black view here. This is offending my eyes a lot. MRV scores, okay, I'm not going to go into full details on this. Bitcoin chart used blockchain as to identify periods where Bitcoin is extremely oversold or undervalued relative to its fair value. And I think that takes into account a lot of things. Go and read this. Look, I've said this a lot over the last year or so. Okay, I still value the on-chain data. Okay, until it absolutely proves wrong. You know, maybe we put in an absolute mega top right here, right now. Okay, it's pure speculation. We've put in an absolute mega top right here, right now. We all know it because we go back down to something ridiculous like 70k, right? This data is then going to be broken. And you can already see that over the years, so back here, 2013, 2014, we've got these big spikes on the MRV scores, marking those tops there and there. Okay, back in 2017, we got the big spike on the MRV score there. Okay, spike in the top there, and we come down into the lows for absolute value. Sell your house, sell your wife, sell your kids. This is where you bid Bitcoin. The same back there in 2022, okay, or 2021, entering 2022. Okay, but notice how the scores get lower. Okay, they slightly get lower, don't they? In the back there, in the which I'm very familiar with in 2021. Okay, the MRV score was quite lower, didn't actually hit that red bound there. Maybe we don't get as high now. You'll have heard me say this before, but until proven wrong, we need to still say the on-chain data is good, valid, structurally looks sound. Okay, something to be aware of. All right, guys. So yeah, Bitcoin, we need to see a bid, don't we? We'll review more of that in a second. Right, so Vitalik's coin, Ethereum, I do have to highlight it's been really, really nice to trade. I think Ethereum's in a bit of a 4-hour range now. It's putting a high, it's coming back down to trend. I think Ethereum will do what most assets do and Bitcoin does. I think it's due for a little bit of a range here. Let me just pull up a quick chart for you, go to a 4-hour. Yeah, okay, so look, you can, it's fucking hell, it's done well, hasn't it? Didn't Gainsey, I'm not going to talk about Gainsey, to be honest. If you're surprised that he sold a meme coin in the last couple of days, why are you surprised? Yeah, okay, so let's do this. Can I pull another? Yeah, I could pull it there. Okay, so you're still on trend, but I think Ethereum is going to be open to a little bit of a range here. I really do. And I would even go so far to, it's dubious where you pull a fixed range. You could pull it there, but I think you've got a bit of a key area there. So I'm just going to draw it there. Okay, so for me personally, I would put a bit of a range draw on ETH and reside yourself whether you are bullish or bearish ETH. It doesn't really matter. As a trader, as a sharpshooting trader, I would be open to this ranging for a little bit longer. So yeah, maybe it holds this zone, point of control, lower trend line. Tom Lee puts in a tweet and we go up only again. But I'm certainly open to this ranging and it potentially could be a really, really nice one. So be open to a bit of this and it will make for really, really good trading. That's all I would say. With that in mind, 4200 there, you know, that we're going to probably see a little bit of bid there, aren't we? So let me get rid of that, keep those lines on. 15-minute chart, let's have a look at the OBD and see what data we're seeing. And there you go. Okay, so your range lows of this potential range, or Nick's going to call it a range, that's where your biggest demand is going to be. And it's obvious, isn't it? What came first, chicken or the egg? Did your TF come first or did your bid or ask come first? Well, your bid or ask comes first, to be honest. You can already see range lows getting defended there on ETH, spot buying the market, spot buying the market. Nice confluence with a nuke in the open RSI metric. If anybody wants this template, give me a shout. I can share it in the chat. All this is it's an open interest metric with an RSI. You may laugh that we've got an open interest with an RSI, but look at the key inflection points that it puts in. Okay, so I think that was actually quite a cheeky, slow, but a nice potential head short on ETH yesterday. And ENA was a good one as well. But yeah, ETH looking a little bit different to BTC, obviously. You've got the demand and the bid at the lows here. But look at the way the offers are stacking and starting to defend price at the highs, okay, of that range there. So your highs, foot of the range, 4600, and you've got those offers defending price. Aggregated debt for book, not bad on ETH. What is Perps doing? Perps, ooh, nice to see. This is what you want to see on BTC, right? This is what you want to see on BTC today if you can get it. You want to see some Perps players coming in and aggressively saying, okay, we're in the range, but I'm going to defend price here. Send it up, please, sir. Okay, so nice to see that. Nice nuke in the open interest, and we're seeing some demand on ETH. Whether this player fills, that's what I would always say. On Perps, it can sometimes be the case that you get these top levels and then the bid is overwhelming and just sends price, okay? But I like to, if I've just got a resting limit order there, I do like to see in a kind of what is potentially an empty book below, I'd like to see that order become static and hold price at the very least, okay? Don't just expect it's going to hold price, okay? We've seen it many times in the books, and again, I'm not going to call it a spoof or anything, but you know, you'll see these orders here, price moves up, they didn't quite get a fill, so they'll pull that order, rightly so, because they're not going to get a fill. It's not a spoof or anything, they're just pulling the fucking order, you know? So keep an eye on that one on ETH, if BTC finds a bid today, and ETH has been strong, okay, it's been strong. Soyboy Sol, let's have a look at Soyboy Sol. Do we need to draw a couple of magic lines on Sol? Yeah, I believe we do. Let's just zoom out a little bit. Yeah, okay, so 4 hour, I'm not going to go higher time frame than that. 4 hour, yeah, let's draw our old trend. trend is your friend and all that shit. Yeah, it looks good. And it's strong. It's strong. I do believe, you know, even if it comes back into this, you know, under 200 level, it is still looking strong. Can I call that any kind of range? No, I don't think so. I don't think so. Yeah, point of control there. If it holds that 200 level, that's going to be key, isn't it? And it could just be, you know, you've got this resistance, break, crack. So, you know, it could be Sol could be as easy as this. It really could. Do we have any more? No. Okay, I'm just going to concentrate on this. Sol could be as easy as this, literally, right? Literally as easy as this, right? You need to turn that zone into support. End of. So whether you come back down or not, okay, where's me drawing tool? Whether you come back down or not, right, and back to trend, maybe you bid this area, you need to flip that to support, and then that, I think you'll get a mega move then. I think you'll be onwards and upwards and it'll just be going. So you're going to see value below here, right? That's going to be your value zone. Whether you hold there or not, I don't know. As soon as if you get in at value there on Sol and it flips this zone, we'll just call it 210. Okay, it's not much. You're a cat's cock air off 210. That's going to be really good, isn't it? Okay, so let's leave that there. Let's draw some magic lines again. Really simple. I'm going to say that there is going to have to become your support. Okay, but we're going to see value at the trend line. Maybe you've got an area of confluence back there. I'll say is back well, just people are obviously seeing under 200 as value. Okay, let's go to a 15-minute chart. What are we seeing? Reset. Okay, so that's the area we need to flip to support. We know that. Let me just get rid of that because I don't want to confuse any of the levels. Okay, so value, yeah, people, so you're seeing value under 200 and it's getting well bid. Okay, it's getting well bid at 200 and under 200 as you get the open interest metric there as well on Sol. Really nice. If you come back down, okay, your trend line's back here, but you're going to have to see value under here, and that is it. Offers, big offers on Sol, not until 220. Okay, not until 220. You've got some light offers there at 215, but look at the, and this is why I think ETH's in for a bit of a range. I need more evidence on BTC that it's going to float up. Sol is looking strong. If the market holds, look at the way the bid is following price up. Sol, I'm more interested in playing for derivatives trades, yeah? Because it's going to move better. It's just going to move better. So keep an eye on this. It's going to be very nice. If you can get value down here and bid it, if you didn't get in the other day, okay, if you do come back down, it's going to look nice. Depth of book, good in these areas as well, okay? So after the last couple of weeks of nice short positions, I think that people will have had, and price drops, I think you're at an inflection point where there's potential market structure change. I think to short the market is less attractive, unless you're just scalping, you know, quick trades that you see in the market just for a little trade. I think you need to prepare for a bit of a bid structurally as we look at the market now. Okay, so a couple of other alts, drop in the chat if you need me to look at any as well. We'll flick through the alts and then we'll have a quick summary on BTC. Anything else I need to look at? Hype has been getting bid. I've got no edge in the market really on Hype at the minute. Quick look at a 4 hour. Yeah, I mean, it's just, it looks like, I mean, it's constructive, isn't it? I'm not going to start drawing lines on this one. It looks okay. You know, there's going to be some value. Oh God, I don't want to draw a range on this really. Look, you know, 44, anywhere under 44 point of control, that's going to be value, isn't it? It looks okay. It looks okay. The only thing I'd say on Sol is I have seen a little bit of aggressive selling on it. Okay, so a little bit of aggressive selling going on Sol in the last few days with price coming down. Sorry, Hype. The only thing with a little bit of a messy chart like this is where it turns absolutely blood orange, is because the perps market, which is the only data we've got for this, the perps market is absolutely of course they want it up again, don't they? So let me just flick Hyperliquid on and see what they are saying. Let me flick Hyperliquid on. Not much to say now on Hyperliquid. The trouble with Hyperliquid is they don't provide us full depth of book, you'll see here. Okay, they just don't provide us full depth of book, so I'm not really looking at it at the minute. Until they provide full depth of book, I've just got to go with the perps market. Now, one positive on Hype, if you do get any dip today, again, is that the offers have lifted again. Okay, so offers there. So offers chasing price down, not good. Offers chasing price down. You bounce, you find a little bit of demand. Okay, lower time frame, super obvious. High lows on the 15-minute chart. Offers lifting. Okay, offers lifting. Then your bigger offers now coming in at that 49 level on Hype. Couple of others. Yes, I was watching Aave because I thought it was absolutely mega bid there. And if you look at a 4-hour chart on Aave, yeah, we're absolutely doing the 4-hour charts today, aren't we? Absolutely brilliant chart on Aave. 4-hour charts, brilliant. So keep an eye on DeFi. I think Aave will still do very, very well. I'm not going to start calling for DeFi summer and all that shit again, but I just think it'll do really, really well. I'm not going to look at CRV because it's been pretty empty. Okay. Really, really good chart. So Pengu, I like. The perps market is rather full on it. The spot market's a little bit empty, but look at that there. Okay, so I'm keeping an eye on Pengu. I do have my alerts set on it, I do believe. Let's just double check. Yeah, Pengu. Okay, so I've got Pengu alerts set. That's all I need. Okay, if we come down to this level today, 289, I want to potentially have a little bit of bid on that. Why do I like Pengu? Quick 4-hour chart again. Okay, this could terrify some people because you've gone uponly.com and then you're kind of forming this kind of like descending pattern here with lower highs, lower highs, lower highs, lower lows. But I just like the way it's forming this range up here, and it's kind of battling these range lows. Point of control is stopping it at the minute, but you've got to see this lower end here. You've got to see this lower end here as value until proven wrong, right? Until proven wrong. And I think it's still doing good volume on DEX as well. Okay, so again, Pengu is very, very easy here. If it starts to turn that zone into resistance, you're going further. But as long as you are seeing bid here from spot and perps, it's value, right? At the minute. As a trader, that's all I'm saying. Don't hold spot in Pengu. Couldn't give a flying fuck about it. I actually think it's one of the worst fucking memes I've ever seen in my life. I don't know why everybody absolutely loves it. The Americans absolutely fucking love Pengu, don't they? It's not even a good looking character, I do have to say. But yeah, you know, you've got this kind of triangle pattern forming. You've got your range here. Here's your range lows until proven wrong. 15-minute chart. What are we seeing at the range lows? We're seeing a bid, right? We're seeing a bid. What kind of volume is that? It's not massive. It's not massive. But is it enough to hold price and send it back up? Yeah, potentially. Potentially, you know. Point of control there is your crab zone. Okay, try and avoid those zones. I'll hold that on there. Point of control there. Yeah, let's see if we can catch a bid today in value and then go up. Right, all important fartcoin. So look, couple of triangle meme. I'm not going to go over this. I'm sure you've all seen it on Twitter. I think fartcoin is like I said right at the beginning. I think fartcoin is potentially a little bit of a crowded trade now because everyone's watching it, right? Everybody's watching it. The trouble with that is it's going to be well open to flushing certain zones. Okay, so you could almost say either front running a zone or flushing a zone. Okay, so this line here was the top of the meme triangle. Okay, let's just show you that quickly then. Okay, so there you go. Meme triangle. Okay, we identified it back here on Monday. Flushed a little bit lower, didn't it? I think we had that like that actually. Flushed that a little bit lower and then rose up. It's actually not achieved too much. So not, you know, if you got in here or you didn't get in here, whether you were stopped out or not, you've actually not achieved too much. You've just got the potential for an inverse head and shoulders here. Now, one other thing I would say now that I am looking at this is, could it become a complex inverted head and shoulders? Okay, so there we go. Okay, I'm not, you know, not going to get too much into this, but maybe you do find a bounce there. Okay, you rise up, you put another one in here. Everyone, that's a fake break, right? So you get some kind of fake break. It shakes all the breakouts. So people are buying breakouts there. It shakes them all out. you put another complex head and shoulders in there, and then that's your run, okay? And that would actually line up really, really nice. So that's just something I'm aware of, okay? And, you know, again, do you want to bid because you're looking at an inverse head and shoulders? Do you want resting limit bids there? No, absolutely fucking bollocks, do I not? I want to watch the price action, and I want to see how aggressive the demand is there, okay? So I've drawn those lines. Maybe it just goes like that. All right, takes absolutely everybody out, fakes out, says, no, thank you, I'm going to 0. I think it's doing good volume on the DEX still. So that's something to be aware of. It is doing good volume on the DEX. 15-minute time frame then. If we just look at the bid ask, you can see all your breakout traders there just got absolutely wrecked. It was so well bid yesterday as we entered into the oh no, it was there yesterday, really, really well bid, but it's kind of, you're trading a breakout when you get to that point, and if you're not looking at the order flow, what the hell are you doing? Because look at the offers pinning price. So I didn't want to short fartcoin there. I'm well aware that you can just rock it through, but price was pinned. Price was pinned there yesterday. Now, there's the bottom of where we would be looking for a bid. We've got a resting limit bid there at 7.2. Obviously, we need to go and see if we can fill that. So, yeah, first and foremost, fartcoin. The open interest has come down, which is a good sign, which you do get in these kind of lows. Nice low open interest. Even back at that one there, you got a kick. Okay, it's nice to see the offers have lifted, because over the last few days, even at the beginning of the week, you see the offers chasing price down, even in that bit there. So you bounced, okay, and then you nuked down, took all that liquidity and then back up. It's nice to see that the offers have lifted, okay, they're a little bit lighter, so it's nice to see. So look, we want to see fartcoin come down a bit. If it's going to be a classic inverted head and shoulders, this is the area you want to look at. Yeah, that's the area you want to look at. I think you could even bloody draw some fibs, and I've gotten absolutely nothing against fib whatsoever. They do bloody work, and they bloody work well. Where would that bring you? So you're going to be down to your 382, right? So you're going to be down to your 382. Fib traders would tell you that that's your last chance saloon. Okay, if you then turn that into resistance, it's down again. Okay, really, really classic stuff we're looking at today, isn't it? Okay, but that's it's nice to see, isn't it? Okay, so no new bids for me on fartcoin now. I'm not prepared to put a resting limit bid in there and say this is going to be an inverse head and shoulders. That's what I want to get in before it does 100x. I want to watch the price action. If we get some aggressive demand in here, then all good in the hood, and we will go for it. All right, guys. So that's fartcoin. Few others. SPX. Not too familiar with that one, but I know the order flow is good on it. Perpetuals capping price there. I think the bonk chart is looking really good at the minute. Actually, go and look at a 4 hour. We'll flick through a couple of others because we are running out of time a little bit. Go look at the bonk chart on a 4 hour and daily. It looks really, really good. With things, nice demand there. If you're scalping or day trading, absolutely valid there. Another one I want to show you, Maker has been absolutely fucking brilliant. Okay, so Maker shared that with the team in the private Discord the other day. Absolutely double demand zone, double walls. If you get that on any kind of asset that does decent volume, that is an absolute fire and forget trade. Okay, so took that the other day with the guys, comes back, hits more demand there. What I said to the guys yesterday as it came back down was, if you were trading this fresh, okay, that bottom level becomes your invalidation, really. If you've got 2 levels like that, order blocks, I would say the bottom one has to be your invalidation. Okay, but Maker doing really, really good stuff, and shared the 4 hour chart with the guys as well, saying I think we're going to float back up and test some zones. Maker tends to do its own thing. It's been trending up all year, right? All year. If you look at 4 hour and a daily chart, trending up all year. So trading Maker and some coins, I'm not too fussed what Bitcoin and ETH do to a certain extent, unless I think the market's going to really aggressively trade in one direction, you know. But yeah, go and have a look at a daily chart and 4 hour chart Maker. It has broke trend. I think this is potentially to either back test that trend or get back on trend. You know, this is one big deviation and to get back on trend, but absolute fire and forget. And look at your, again, I do have to point out, look at your open interest metric as we hit that bid. Okay, then we fly up and we hit this kind of double top. So it was a nice take profit area. into that double top zone there, back down. Okay, if you filled again there, yeah, if it was fresh, you probably had a couple of percent there. It wasn't the best risk reward, not like that one, but it was very, very good. It would be ideal if we flushed back here now. I just don't know if it's going to, I don't know if it's going to. I think if you're in from here, it's maybe something you want to keep and just tighten that risk reward up. You could then move your stops maybe under to that level, maybe under that level. Okay, another good one is ENA. So the ENA price action has been absolutely brilliant again. The order books are brilliant. Offers chasing price. Look at this, offers chasing price. We come down, you know that your risk is going to be down here at that 6.0 level. Okay, you hit that bid, your open interest metrics down, you've got nice aggregated book, and up we go. Really, really nice. And then yesterday, I think a couple of the guys were looking at short in this area because the perps market was short, but the bid did come in there just pre-US session and send us up again. And then actually, I think that was actually a cheeky day trade scalp there. I think that was very, very valid, and we've come down now. If I show you the perps market on that one as well, absolute wealth of demand there. Massive, massive order block there, defending price. Up we go. Okay, you could potentially look at this on the perps market and say, yeah, this is potentially going to be a good short yesterday at that European session. The only trouble was spot weight and confluence where they had orders a little bit higher and they actually started to bid it up. Okay, so just be aware. But ENA, really, really nice chart. Another chart that I do like, and I'm not really a fan of the asset. I think it's an absolute bag of bollocks. I think if you're holding XRP spot, you are pure liquidity for the lizards and the Illuminati to get out of their supply that they hold. But if you're just trading it on derivatives, keep an eye on it, because the bid is moving up with price, which is exactly what you want to see, okay? If you want price to move up, the bid is moving up with XRP. Let's run through a couple of the others. I like LDO. Big demand zone on LDO, tends to move well with ETH. You've just got some offers capping price here. Not the kind of price action, again, I would short just because I'm seeing offers there, but I'm aware there is demand well below. Perps market, a little bit messy. Rune, nothing going on with Rune at the minute, but I am watching it because I know that the chart is well oversold. Just pure TA. I know the chart's well oversold. If I start to see some aggressive bid coming in on Rune, I'm going to get involved on that. Stinky link for the Link Marines. Again, that was nice there. Just, if anything, even if you're not short in the market, if you've been long from lower, okay, you did hold from there, it's just telling you that, okay, you're not going any further anytime soon, and we're coming back down. Do we get back down to 22? Not sure on Link. Other good charts as well. I do have to say, and again, it's not something I really trade, but it's looking good. Even if you're just trading derivatives, ADA, Charlie Boy's coin, really good chart on it, so keep an eye on that one. Really good. AVAX, I want to show you this one because I will have pointed this out to some of you guys before, and I'll quickly show you the 4-hour chart on this as well. AVAX is giving you, in the order flow that you are seeing on the overlays, the ratio overlays, okay, AVAX is giving you an absolute classic example of resistance to support. Yeah, absolute classic example. So 15-minute time frame, we're looking at the order flow. Supply holds it, cracks supply, fills a little bit there. People are trying to put a bid in, cracks supply again there. Double spot band alert, which is that little triangle there. If you're unfamiliar, that's just part of our alert log overlay there. Okay, supply, demand. Okay, 4-hour chart. Let me just show you that really quickly. Oops, don't know why I've got a big arrow on there. Show you this really quickly. Might have to go to a daily actually, see if it loads the data quick. There you go. Okay, so potentially on AVAX, it's been ranging for so long. I've not looked to see if this chain is doing much activity at the minute, but look at where that's coming in. So you could say your value area high is a bit higher up on this particular pull. If I pull the fixed range a bit differently, it might give us a different read. Maybe, yeah. Okay, we're gonna have to. We'll leave it as that. But you can see there, resistance, 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 resistance forever. Okay, the 25 level to 24, you know, it's been resistance forever, and you're seeing that on the order flow now. So now what you want to do is hold this level, okay? And again, really simple. So resistance all the way through there. Let's hold that, turn that, and it's gonna fly. It will absolutely fly. It's been here since February. All right, so it's been in a range since February. If you're familiar with what Link did, what XRP did, and a few other coins, it's all the same. It's all the same scenario. So if AVAX chain network team have still got something behind them, I think it's still potentially going to do very well. And certainly from a derivatives trading point of view, it's just a nice chart, isn't it? Just a very nice chart. Right, drop in the chat now if there's any other coins we need to look at together. I'm not going to look at too many, because I actually think that 99% of assets are probably dead and dying, because they are absolutely doing zero volume. So if you're trading derivatives, pick the bigger volume coins. Is fartcoin coming down a bit? No, not yet. Okay, let's wait for the US session then. So if you're watching this on playback, we are in the European session. Let's summarize BTC. BTC, we need a little bit of evidence. We've got potential 1 hour market structure change here. Okay, potential for cracking this 1 hour downtrend, this lower time frame bearish downtrend. Okay, but we need to see more evidence. Yeah, we need to see some more evidence in the bid. We need bid to get aggressive, like it is on ETH. Okay, perps. Let's have a look. So we know that spot has been buying ETH. Okay, perps market just starting to get a little bit aggressive on ETH. Not sure if this entity's pulled or filled. Let's have a look at that. Yeah, not sure. Okay, we need to see a little bit of this on BTC for further continuation. Okay, if we can get under any of these lows, and this is what I would always say is, and you know, I always say this, sorry if this is boring, avoid trading this area if you can help it, because that is your crab zone, isn't it? That is your absolute crab zone. Don't trade in there. We want to see a little bit of a move, don't we? Okay, we want to see a little bit of a move. So if we can come down a little bit, confirm this area, get a little bit more bid while this open interest is low, then I think we're open for a push to potentially take that CME gap. If we just continue to see nothing in here, okay, and if I just show you the perps book once again, okay, the perps book's pretty empty. Okay, we need to see that aggression from these traders come back in. 600 mil aggregated depth, not bad. CoinM are in. Okay, so CoinM are in, but let's fill them at that 109. If we can get down there, that's going to be great, because it's going to take a lot of this Asian session liquidity. If we can get down there, that's going to be great. Okay, let's see some aggression from the bid now. If not, you're going to have to go and find a bid. Okay, it's, as I say, it's not always the case that the sellers are aggressive. Sometimes price is just going to have to float down, because you need to go and find a bid. All right, volume, as I said, not too much edge. We are curling up a little bit. It just looks like it's following price a bit. If we can flick down a little bit, as these retail traders are trying to get long here, okay, what's that going to do? It's going to drop the open interest a little bit more, and potentially, like I said earlier, give us some lower time frame bullish divergences. So a lower low on price action, okay, and a higher on the old volume. Okay, so I hope that makes it clear. Okay, a couple of updates to the TRDR console. I'm sure DK went through those yesterday. Just have a look at the announcements page in the Discord or Telegram. Shaquille goes through them there. But just to say that we do have deltas, okay, deltas on our OBD ratio now. So if you're a little bit of a delta fanboy or girl, get involved in that. Really can be nice. Gives you really good directional bias, actually. Not directional bias, but can show you the real aggressor in the market if you are looking at deltas. So you can just see there 2.5 to 5% away. We do have some positive delta from Binance Perps there, 150 million. Okay, normally I do have it on ratios because I'm just familiar with looking at the ratios. I know what kind of bid ask ratio we need for price reversals. Okay, and then obviously the other option there is just totals. Okay, which is just everything accumulated together. Right, so hope everyone's got a little bit out of the live stream. We went through the basics. We know why we are where we are. We've got a fresh pair of eyes on the market. We know what we need to see now in the market, okay? No directional bias from us. We just need to see a little bit more data in the books. If we see that data, we can action it dynamically and discretionary. All right, guys, look, I will timestamp this. Give it a share, give it a like, share the knowledge. Hope everyone has a great week. Follow us on Twitter because I do tend to post a little bit more updates on there, and join the Trader Discord and Telegram as well. All right, guys, speak soon. Cheers.